Today is the Solemnity of St. Joseph. As well today there's a commemoration of the third Sunday after Easter and proper last gospel from that, and of St. Hermenegild. And you have the talking heads on television. One idea is as good as another, and they yak back and forth. And of course that notion is inimical also to the idea of a revealed religion, and inimical to the nature of the Catholic faith. Because God reveals, He reveals something. This comes from outside. And who cares what your opinion is? Who cares what your opinion is? What counts is the truth. The truth is something that is integral and unchanging, immutable. And you either accept the truth or you reject it. And there are consequences if you reject it. So there's this religious sense of feeling, and then leveling, all opinions are equal. And as a result of this, the errors of Vatican II were spread very, very easily throughout the world. Modernists use the mass media to do this. You think of the press conferences given by the various heretics during Vatican II, the heretical theologians, the coterie of heretical theologians from Europe, from Germany and from France in particular, and how they used the media to spread these errors. And then the errors take on a life of themselves, right? This theological theory is truth because it was seen on TV. In any event, that is the power of the mass media and how it fits in with the modernist program. This is to lead up to a more pressing consideration. Benedict XVI, Joseph Ratzinger, is going to visit the United States this week. There's a lot of media hype about this, naturally. You're going to get 24/7 coverage, okay? And you are going to get an awful lot of very striking images. That's in the nature of TV and so on. You're going to get a lot of commentary, a lot of fatuous commentary, and a lot of false polarities pushed at you. The idea that, well, he is really the conservative pope, and he is really restoring tradition, and so on. And the talking heads will nod at each other and on the 24-hour news channels, and we'll talk about this. And you'll read fatuous articles in the newspaper about this as well. The purpose of all of this, from the point of view of Ratzinger and company, is really to use the media to draw you into his one world church, his one world religion. And I'm telling you all these things to say that don't fall for it. Don't fall for it. Remember the nature of this manipulation. That we tend to forget in the age where one opinion is as good as another and feelings are everything, the age of Oprah, that one heresy, and you're no longer a Catholic. It takes you out of the church because the truth is integral. The truth is integral. And so that sentiment and feeling and so on really do not count in this sort of perception. The fact that you have a supposedly conservative, kindly, cultured, soft-speaking Bavarian with this really charming gemütlich accent that being portrayed by as a great hero of the Catholic faith, as a great conservative, that doesn't make him so. This guy's a heretic. And he is one of the principal heretics of Vatican II. He was part of the gang that used the Vatican II as a springboard to spread their false ideas throughout the world. He's not a Thomist. He doesn't believe in the theology of St. Thomas Aquinas. He doesn't follow it. It's, at least Wojtyła, JP2, theoretically, at a certain point was a Thomist, but Ratzinger never was. Ratzinger never was. He embraces other ideas entirely. So so you'll have the spectacle which by which you're supposed to be drawn in. But the reality is that it's the same old modernist, Ratzinger, packaged a little bit differently. And ecumenism is still going full throttle. There are visits with Protestants and Jews and so on. Perhaps an odd imam thrown in somewhere along the way. And he, of course, is going off to the pagan United Nations to deliver a speech there. The one world government, right, meets the one world church, Ratzinger. I remember, by the way, and I was talking with someone this past week about this, that I was a kid in high school at the minor seminary here in Milwaukee when Paul VI went to the United Nations. And I was absolutely horrified by that. I thought, what is the Holy Father doing, going to talk to all these awful people? These leftists, these pagans, these people who hate the Catholic faith. And then he gives them his tiara. He gave his tiara to the United Nations, his coronation tiara. And I was flabbergasted at that as a kid, thinking, how could the Pope do something like this? You know, what? And then he says that to the United Nations that, you know, war no longer, jamais plus la guerre. He talked to them in French. War no longer. And that is to you, the United Nations, that people come for the principles and for the means that are going to bring peace to the world. I thought that, isn't that supposed to be the Catholic Church? Right? Or that avant tout, nous avons le culte de l'homme. Above all, we, the Catholic Church, have the worship, the cult of man. So, figure it out. It doesn't, that when you see something like this, when you see Ratzinger visiting the United Nations and legitimizing it, think of what's really behind it. We petition St. Joseph today to be our protector, to protect us and our kids and others from this nonsense. We pray for the grace to reflect, to analyze, to think rather than passively react as some sort of a tool used by this modern media that were used in such a way so that we fail to recognize that Ratzinger, Benedict XVI, is not the solution. He's the problem. He was one of the guys who caused the problem. So this week, pray, do reparation, study your Catholic faith, and pray especially with, let us say, the prayers of the third Sunday after Easter. Grant to all those who profess themselves to be Christian to reject those things that are contrary to that name. God bless you. In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Ghost. Amen.